Yes, ma'am. My pleasure.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. People are telling you welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, my goodness, it's 9 o'clock, and let's see if we can open let's see if we can open at about 9:20. Open the lines,
Okay.
um, right? But I know you have something on your heart, on your mind that you want to discuss. So go right ahead.
Okay. Okay. Great. Well, listen. Um, my main point tonight that I want to discuss is about the presidency. This this appointment. Um, and what I'm going to say is going to be maybe considered controversial. But I'm going to say it anyway, and I'm not saying this for for an opinion. Of course, in Barbados you get a lot of opinions, but I'm just going to say what I'm going to say from my perspective. I think we're making a grave mistake in this selection, this individual that we are selecting as our new president. And I want to be very, very clear. I'm not saying this because I am um, not, you know, supportive of Mr. Thorne or against Mr. Thorne, but my stance is very clear on the reality that uh, the individual that is now being put forward or nominated to be our new president vacated his post during COVID with no clear reason. And since then, we have not seen him in any form of philanthropy work. We haven't heard anything from him. And I think it's silly the way and very unfortunate that Barbadians are being treated as though there's no need for us to be a part of what is going on. I think it's very hurtful that at this point, the selection of the the president of Barbados, with our island now being a republic, is hurtful that the people cannot be involved in the process. And there are other Caribbean islands where the president is elected, and I don't understand why in Barbados the state is still in a situation where uh, two or three persons can sit and just decide this is who we want as president and this is who you're going to have to accept. I think the time has come for this type of behavior that consistently and is consistently coming from the government towards the people of Barbados. This constant behavior towards us like we are stupid, we don't know, we can't run our own affairs, so we're going to run your affairs for you, and just you're going to have to deal with whatever. The constant behavior with the tent laws, people coming and telling you, I'm not prosecuting anyone. I want money. I want money. And that's the kind of behavior that Barbadians are being subjected to over and over again from this administration. Let me say again that he vacated his post during COVID, never gave Barbadians a reason for why he did it. The government certainly didn't give a reason. And I'm telling you, there's no real justification. There is nothing that either the prime minister or the opposition leader can bring to the table to say that he is a credible candidate for the president of Barbados. And let me go on to say what is actually happening here. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 28:29 and verse 2 that when the uncompromisingly righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked man rules, the people groan at sight. And this is what we're seeing right now. Even Mr. Abed himself spoke about that. He's never seen the type of need in all of his years. He's seen it. But what we're seeing is a wicked rulership that is going on in Barbados right now. And it's causing the people to groan and mourn. And the reality is that all of what took place during COVID, and I understand your show, so I want to be very tactful in the language that I use. But 3 years ago, going back 4 years ago, we had a situation in Barbados that was not handled properly. Up to this day, there's never been a report from any of the vested entities in Barbados. There's never been a proper post-mortem on the effects of COVID. There's never been, a report on the effects of the vaccines. And these are individuals who were present all of this time, vacated their posts. Now, tell me, if you were in a lesser post and you demonstrated that you did not have the testicular fortitude, the wisdom, the authority, the power to handle that situation properly, you vacated your post, how do I expect you to come back and be effective in a larger post or in a greater position? Okay. And I think right now that the people in Barbados must get up and they must voice their opinion right now. And it must be done in such a way that we put our voices out there. The reality is that in a republic, the power is invested in the people. The people makes the decisions. You don't have one or two or three or four, five persons making a decision, signing off on that, and then saying to the public, this is the person that you have to accept. I want to make it abundantly clear. I will not accept Mr. Boston as my president. I will not accept him. I will not submit to him. I will not honor him. I will not disrespect him, but I will never, based on the position that he held during the pandemic and what he was a part of doing to Barbados, I will never accept him as my president, and I will never be supportive of him as the president of Barbados. So let me just say this final part about this before we go to the callers. Barbadians have to understand, and I have to say this from the point of view of being an apostle. Barbadians have to get to the place where they understand spirituality, and spirituality from the perspective of God, and then spirituality from the perspective of the demonic. So here's what the demonic forces will do, and people who work with them. They will come and they will throw something at you because their activity is what we call response driven. They're waiting on a response to see if they can move forward with their decision or if they have to backtrack on their decision. So if you put forward something to the people from the perspective of the demonic, they're going to wait on your response. If your response is silence, but there's no pushback, then they know that their foot is in the door and they can continue. If your response is sudden, but it is also, in their term, rebellious, or there is a rebellion, or there is a pushback, or there is a rejection, what you're pushing at the people right now, then they'll back up. That's how the demonic works. They'll put something out there to gauge the response of the people. Each time that they put something out there and there was a march, you had a march, the people pushed back, they went back on it. That is how you know that what is happening is demonic. Because the moment that you push back and the moment that spiritual authority is used against what they're doing, they will know. That's how that demonic force has to submit to individuals who are carrying spiritual power. So when we see this level of activity, unlike myself, I'm a spiritual person, so I don't have to speak loud to push back. I don't have to even pray to push back. Okay? It's the same system that the Lord did with Moses. And if you read the text carefully, the Lord said, look, I know this is very easy. When I send you to Pharaoh, it's going to be easy. But I'm going to make your job a little harder, Moses, because I'm going to harden Pharaoh's heart so that I can manifest my power. But even though I know this is going to be, if you go there right now and say, let my people go, he'll have to do it. But I'm going to harden his heart so that I can manifest my power. So I understand clearly how the demonic works. And over the last 4 years, this is what has been happening in Barbados. There's this constant pushing things forward to see how Barbadians are going to respond. And if there is a serious response from the people, they'll pull it back. Okay? And this is what I want Barbadians to do, those who listen to this show. The time for Barbadians to wake up and realize what is happening to them. That time is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not after the next election. That time is now. And the mere fact that we are in a republic and we can still have a situation where an individual that has not spoken to the public since he left his place in 2021 to be pushed forward as someone that can be considered sane, credible, reputable, and sound of mind to be our next president. I cannot believe that this type of activity is going on in Barbados right now. And I want to make my point clear, and this is my position. Doesn't have to be anybody else's, but I will not accept him as my president. I will never see him as my president. And whether they're listening tonight or not, that doesn't bother me. I'm making it abundantly clear. We cannot use and function with this type of ignorance and this type of stupidity and this blatant attempt to make Barbadians look like they're ignorant, and we cannot take our own ship out into deep waters, that a few people still have to, fix things for us and make sure that they're in control and setting this system up. I know exactly why it's going on. I've asked the Lord about it. I know exactly why they're doing it, but I need the public in Barbados to understand the time of, them pretending that Barbadians don't know anything. We can't, formulate our own will, our own plan. We don't have people who can pray about what's going on. We don't have folk who, can, seriously play a greater role in what's going on. We had a gentleman who was acting while the current president was on vacation or when she's out of the island. So why is this man not selected? Why is he not given an opportunity? Why is it that 2 or 3 persons aren't put to the public in Barbados? Say, these are the ones that we are considering nominating for your next president. Have some type of referendum. You already got Cadres and all these folk who are out there doing political, assessments and survey. Why is that? Why can't that be done in Barbados, a country that we are calling a republic, a country that we are calling world class? I would really love to say what it is, but I don't want to say that tonight. But for sure, this is not a world class country. That's what I want to say tonight, Madam Reese.
Really acknowledge that the kind of republic we are, and why there's no election for it. Let me unmute you because there was a noise coming through. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a sham, because they brought the now King of England, formerly Prince Charles, they brought him to Barbados midnight to switch over to this republic status. Who in their right mind will take your island into the status of republic in the middle of a pandemic without sitting down and formulating a constitution? So who's going to go republic and then have a constitution? Who's going to move in a house and then put the roof on? Okay. So, somebody thought about putting the cart before the horse. And this is what they did to Barbados. And Madam Reeks, this is 2025 and they still cannot get the constitution together. It's not going to happen. You know why? Because no wisdom was employed in getting Barbados to becoming a republic. The people who were at the helm of doing this, they do not have the wisdom of God. Okay. And I listen to, folk can say whatever, but everything is going to go haywire because you don't have a constitution. Okay. An amended constitution is not a constitution. Okay. And you have to let the people know that an amended constitution.
No, but that's not true. I really can't.
I want to make my point.
Not a republic constitution, but it is a constitution.
Right.
It's not. Right. It's not a republic constitution, which I agree with you. We should have.
Right.
Yes.
That's correct. So my apology. I should have put it that way, but with my passion, I'm saying things in a particular manner. But let me go ahead and say this. I listened very closely to what the opposition leader, Mr. Thorne, said about his position on Mr. Bostic and his involvement in the selection. He mentioned that Mr. Bostic was, in relation to his position on the matter, that Mr. Bostic was mentally stable, legally able, and morally suitable for the position. Okay, you left out something: spiritually skilled. Okay, spiritually skilled. So obviously, he's not spiritually skilled for this position, and we have to understand that positions of leadership, are spiritual positions. They're not just about the mental state of the person. And the mere fact that Mr. Bostic can vacate his post during COVID, whether or not it got too hot for him, listen, not mentally stable, not strong enough to handle that situation, certainly cannot be strong enough mentally to carry out the process of being a president. So that one area, legally stable, and I'm speaking out of correction, but this is what I heard, this is what I remembered, legally able, morally suitable, but then they left out spiritually skilled. Spiritually skilled. That's an area that was left out. And, whether individuals want to understand this or not, any type of leadership position that you move into is either God working with you or the demonic. There's no in between. And we have seen over and over again at this point that COVID has been a huge sham. There's no response from any of these individuals as to what is happening in our nation on the area of health, what's going on with so many people who are just going off the scene. Not a single word from these individuals, not a single word from that, the COVID unit, from the Heart and Stroke Foundation, from the Cancer Society. Nobody has said anything about what Bajans are suffering because of being under the leadership of these folk. And I make it abundantly clear, I'm standing, this is my position, but I will never accept him as a president. As long as I live here in Barbados, I will never see him with my eyes or with my spiritual eyes. I will never see him as my president. And I just want to make that abundantly clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
if I can say one more thing, one of my other major challenges I have with this, I know that Mr. Bostic is on some levels militarily trained. Okay. And from my knowledge, the Barbados Police Service and the Defense Force, they're under the president. Okay. From my knowledge, both of these entities falls under the presidency. And now we will have a president that is militarily trained, that is over the commissioner and over the brigadier. I smell a rat here. Okay. And there is, in my mind, there are serious extenuating factors that has gone into this apparent appointment. And I think the time has come now for Barbadians to be very, very careful with what can be done in this so-called republic that we're in. But I'm waiting to see one thing. And I'm praying about it and talking to the Lord about it. But there's one particular thing that I'm waiting on to see. And when I see that particular thing, I'll come on the show and I'll talk about it, Madam Weeks. But I'm waiting, I'm talking to the Lord about it, and I'm waiting to see it happen. When I see that happen, I'll tell you. But Barbadians right now, with this administration, with the amount of lying that these people have done to this country, the amount of monies that they're spending, the reality that, we're realizing now that so much of what happened 3 years ago was a sham, and this administration went along with it hook, line, and sinker, and they're still unable to bring any justification to this situation now that we're having in the island, where so many people who should be alive today have gone, and folk who should be living wholesome lives are suffering. And somebody has got to point a finger and tell these folk, you are going to be held responsible. So don't come and be a part of the destruction of my country and then come and tell me you want to be my president. Can't work, not in this universe or any other universe that I'm in of this island. As a people, we don't know what they are. What actually
Repeat,
goes
please.
in, pardon me?
Repeat. I didn't hear you well. There
Yeah.
was a little disturbance.
Okay, so I said as a nation, we don't even know what is the criteria for the selection of the president. We don't know that. And let me just slip one in here that I believe should be a part of that. And just one, being an outstanding citizen. Can you honestly tell me that Mr. Bostic is an outstanding citizen?
I don't know. I mean, I have his CV here that I could read. I don't know.
No,
I can't tell you. I don't know him. I can't say whether I can, you know.
let's ask. Let's, you know, as part of the criteria that the person must be an outstanding citizen. Can we say Mr. Bostic is an outstanding citizen? Listen, Madam Weeks, Rihanna did absolutely well in her entertainment career, became a billionaire, you know, and was made without being consulted, was made a national hero. They pushed Errol Barrett on the backside of that travesty that they have in Bridgetown at the top of Grove Street. They pushed Errol Barrett to the back of it and put Rihanna and Mr. Sobers to the front, and put her to the front so that if you're walking up there, that you would see her. I don't have any issues at all with Rihanna, but I'm saying that she was made a national hero, didn't even know. The people did not even receive any information, any consultation on this matter. Now we are back here again with the selection of our president. Okay? And I'm asking a simple question, and this may go to the public, and the public may respond if they choose to. But can we honestly say the person that we want at the helm of our country, the person that is going to be the president, the face of Barbados other than the prime minister, can we honestly say Mr. Bostic is an outstanding citizen? Or can we just select anyone at random and put them there just because we want them to carry out our agenda? Someone that will toe the line. I've made my position absolutely clear on the matter where I stand, and Madam Weeks, my stance is not going to change. But we need to know what actually went in to the prime minister, the opposition leader. What is the criteria? What lies within that give you guys the right to say this is the person who's good enough to take the job and to be the next president of Barbados? We, the people, we deserve the right to know. We live in Barbados. We need to be a part of the decision-making process. We aren't just supposed to be running around when an election is called and putting the next to your vote. We need to be a part of the destiny and the vision of our country. And what is happening in Barbados is a clear sign that the systems are in place to shut the people out because they don't believe that the public in Barbados is mature enough as yet to make the decisions that are necessary. And pretty much the fact that Barbadians may make a decision that might not go along with their framework or what they're looking to achieve. But the reality is that we have a right to be a part of the process of what will make Barbados Barbados. And the fact that we aren't there yet, the fact that we're still having this level of activity from the political dimension here in the island, saying to Barbadians, y'all are not ready to make any decisions as yet, so we will make the decisions for you. Somebody there should have said, no, we are a republic, and I understand we are, but here is my question. Here's my question, Madam Weeks. What is right towards Barbadians? What is right towards the people? What is right towards Barbadians? You are a parliamentary republic. I know all of your constitutions and all this stuff that they have, but what is right towards the people of Barbados? And if you can't do what is right towards our people, then the time for you to go has come. And that's what I'm going to say. I'll
Yeah.
start right there for now.
Yeah.